Hi, my name is David Strable, Technical Architect for AHEAD. Today we're going to take a product walkthrough on the Tintri VMstore T440 storage appliance. First, let's take a look at the settings. This is where you'll perform your initial configuration steps for the VMstore appliance. First, you'll set your data store data IP, which is what your vSphere host will use to connect to the data store on the Tintri appliance. Next, you have your net mask and gateway. Then you can set if you want jumbo frames disabled or enabled. You'll next set your vSphere vCenter IP address, the administrator username, and then administrator password. And this allows the Tintri appliance to communicate with the vSphere API. You can then set a local password, set your email notification so you receive alerts from the Tintri data store, then your auto support that will upload auto support reports to Tintri. Set your date and time. You can set primary and secondary NTP, and then also set your primary DNS and secondary DNS. As you see, this is a very simple and easy process to set up the Tintri appliance. Let's take a look at the Tintri dashboard view. The Tintri dashboard view is going to give you the overall utilization and performance statistics of the Tintri appliance. Here we have data store performance, we have IOPS, throughput, latency, and flash hit ratio. Below that we have performance reserves, so it gives you auto allocated and free. Below space utilization, other, which is for the file system, live data, snapshots, and free space. Over here on the right, we have performance reserve changers and space changers. This is going to give you any utilization changes at the VM level. Let's take a look at the Virtual Machines tab. The Virtual Machines tab, you will have all the VMs that are stored on the Tintri appliance listed here. If you click on a VM here, you'll see we have metrics, which are IOPS, megabits of throughput, performance reserves, latency, flash hit percentage, provisioned and used space, the host on which the VM resides on, block size, power state, and whether the VM is a template or not, and the UUID of the VM. Below, what we have is the metrics for the last 7 days for the VM. We can see this as read and write IOPS, read and write throughput, performance reserves, latency, flash percentage, which is going to be very high on the Tintri appliance due to it writing all I/O to flash before it ever moves back to SATA. And then we can also see the space utilization over the last 7 days. If we go up here to virtual disk, this is going to allow us to see all the virtual disks associated with the VM. So you see our VM here has 2 virtual disks, swap and a SCSI disk. And then you'll see the performance statistics at that virtual disk level. So we'll go back to the VM's view. Here you can also pin a VM. When you pin a VM, what it does is actually pins the VM into flash. So this is for any VMs you made that require very high I/O and need the performance of flash. As pinning it to flash will not allow it to go down into the SATA tier. Then if we unpin the VM, then this will allow it to utilize both flash and SATA. Now we can also here take a snapshot of the VM. Write a short description here. Take snapshot. This will then take a snapshot. Here you'll see the source VM for the snapshot, the created date and time, the snapshot description. So as you see, the Tintri appliance provides performance statistics for each VM and individually collects and makes available for review in the interface. Changes in utilization or performance can easily be traced to a particular VM or virtual disk. In addition to traditional metrics such as latency, space consumption, and throughput, the Tintri management interface also indicates consumption of key performance resources, such as flash capacity, CPU, and disk throughput, both at the system-wide level and on a per VM basis. This really simplifies both troubleshooting and capacity planning by providing information at the correct level for each individual VM. So now let's take a look at the Alerts tab. The Alerts tab is going to display all the alerts that the Tintri appliance has generated. First, we'll have our timestamp of the alert, a short message of the alert, and a comment if one was left for the alert. Right above this, you can see we can acknowledge an alert, we can comment on an alert, and we can also archive the alert. On the left side here, we have archived, which is going to display all our archived alerts. If we select View Events, this is going to bring up another window that's going to allow you to view alerts in a syslog format. Next, if we look at Diagnose, here, this is going to display the OS version, the serial number, and the uptime of the Tintri appliance. You can also generate a support bundle from here for troubleshooting purposes, generate auto support report, which is just a shorter version of the support bundle, and also browse logs and support bundles and reports. As we've seen today, the Tintri appliance is very easy to set up and navigate. Tintri has taken a VM-focused approach. This really comes out in the interface. Instead of managing LUNs and volumes, you're managing VMs, which are very familiar to the VM administrator. Again, my name is David Strable, and thank you for taking the time to watch the Tintri VMstore T440 product demonstration.